Well, all right, miners and minerettes. I got something interesting that I want to show you guys. So I have a little bit of a predicament here, and it's starting to make me feel like the good old days. I don't know if any of you guys remember, but have you seen or heard of this brand? So my furnace in here has crapped out. And so as you can see, these are actually my old duct covers. Um, well, I kind of made those a little impromptu. I have the caps off right now because it's gotten quite cold in my basement. And that is because my furnace is kind of not really doing its job. So I actually fired up an ASIC last night because around here, we're about to get a nice snowstorm, and it dropped down to like -6 last night. So, this all used to be full-fledged like mining, but, since we've kind of turned it back into, livable space for guests. But my basement is oh crap, these old GPUs. Look at this fan getting tired. Hold on, let's see if I can wake him up. Come on now. Come on now. Yeah. Hey, there. Oh, no, we're dead. We're dead. We're dead. Come on. Well, anyway, it looks like it's time to set up a nice warm GPU mining furnace. All right, so I gave my fan over here a jump start on my old school GPUs. And now it is time to get building. I am going to set up a temporary grow tent situation. I'm actually going to pop this rack into the grow tent. It's 48 inches, so it'll actually hang over past this a little bit, but I don't really fully plan on running this ASIC. This is actually an AL1 Pro. I don't know. I'm holding out hope. Maybe I'll sell it, or maybe a lithium will come back. I don't know. But I kept it honestly as an emergency, like shit. If I really need things to be warm, I'll fire it up. And lo and behold, I ended up using it last night. So I think once I get the tent set up and I have the inline fans pointing back in here, I should be good. So this is kind of going to be for funsies. It's a temporary situation. I wouldn't go out and buy a whole bunch of GPUs to like set up a grow tent, but I have this stuff. I had a huge grow tent that was taking up this entire space I'm standing in. But I got a little guy, and I'm just going to kind of augment the heat because my furnace, it's still working, but it's actually not keeping up, and I think it's overheating and kicking off. And so while I focus on getting the furnace fixed, I don't want my family to freeze. And so what I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm going to fire up this grow tent situation and point that into the ductwork and the circulation fan. When the furnace does run, it's going to get a little extra boost from all the mining. So I'm hoping that I can kind of run that and it'll help heat the house, because otherwise it's going to drop too cold in the next coming days. All right, guys, so you can see I just got the ASIC off the top of here, off the top of this rack. It was a little nerve-wracking trying to get it down. See what I did there? The rack, nerve wracking. Oh god. Oh god. Okay. Anyway, I like to put everything I build on wheels, so that way I can just kind of get it out of the way when it's time to make a move here. And so we're gonna clear some of these wires and get everything out of the way, because the game plan right now is to build this tent right here. And then we're going to shoot the air into there. Tomatoes. See what people are really using these things for. Oh, yeah, okay, tomatoes. Let's check the reviews. The reviews. Oh. Space heater. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I got some of this constructed. It looks like my measurements were good. I think we're going to be able to pop this right in here. So it should come out about 2 feet from this wall. Still better walk through. I'm probably going to get in trouble for this, because we just got this basement back into human habitable from all my, mining activities. And now we're about to reverse course. Hey, but I don't want to have cold humans. So, all right, let's keep building. All right, guys. So now we're getting somewhere. We have Vivo San Grow Tent. So the plan is to pop the rack into tent, heat from tent into house. Now that I actually have this here and I can like see it, I'm not sure how I feel about the gap. I actually might end up just literally moving this thing in front of the furnace. But again, the whole point of this is like the furnace is not functioning properly. So I want to be able to work on the furnace while the GPUs heat the house. And I'm actually probably going to throw, I got some other plans. I'll show you what else I'm going to throw on here. But first and foremost, got to keep the house warm for the squad. So I'm going to go ahead and take some of this down, and then I'm going to pop that into here. And I'm going to decide if I want the grow tent, right there, or if I want it actually just in front of where the furnace is. So yeah, let's do that now. All right, guys. So it fit. That is quite satisfying. So we got the grow tent here, okay, and the rack just fit in there nicely, snug as a bug in a rug. Wow, very satisfying. So yeah, the rack is in. I just got to decide if this is the final spot that I want to put it in. But so far, so good. All right, guys. So I have the tent set up. Put the wire, out of the way a little bit so, people can still kind of get by here. But I have now hooked up one of these trusty old inline fans. And here we go. Let me see if I can get a decent view. Bam. So I put the cap back on the second, I guess inlet there. And I just got two rigs in there. And I am shooting my hot air into the house. So the furnace is still running, but it's just basically augmented now. And so let's close this up. I just threw a little thermometer in here. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. Oh, okay, 78.8. So that's cool. So I'm shooting 78-degree air into there. But once I actually close this bad boy, I think it will be a little warmer. So let me just go ahead. All right. There she is in her final form. All right, pretty cool. So this is my impromptu space heater. Wow, now I can work on the furnace. I won't take that apart right now, but this is going to be the temporary help the furnace. And I can actually see my GPUs from in here, so that's kind of cool. I definitely can't tell what the temperature is, but yeah. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A GPU space heater. So the other thing that's kind of neat is that you can actually open up these bottom flaps here, and this will suck in some of the cold air, right? Because I'm now using my inline fan to get some of that reverse air pressure, right? And suck it out into here, and shoot it into the house. But you can see, let me take this apart, open the door here. You can see this is pulling the air out of the tent, right, and into the house. Pretty cool. Yeah, so there you have it. Now, I'm not saying go out and grab one of these, but for me, right now, we have a storm coming this weekend, and it was -6 last night. And with my furnace not working, actually, the furnace just kicked on right now. So the air is getting shot in from the grow tent and helping out the furnace. The furnace will not stay on all the way, though. It won't get to temperature, and it'll kick off. And so this is going to just keep shooting air. So I'll show you what I have this thing mining. Because GPUs are actually, I don't think GPUs are coming back to life like ETH era status, but things aren't too bad. My electric rate here at the house, I don't really mine at the house unless it's on solar, because my electric rate is actually 15 cents. But I have my ASICs hosted, and the GPUs, they're doing not as bad as they were a little while ago. All right, so we got a very good result so far. The impromptu, GPU crypto mining furnace is doing its job. My house is warm.
and now I can work on the furnace while the mining is heating the house. And temperatures are about to drop, and we are about to get a serious storm in my area over the weekend. And so I'm very pleased that I had some extra equipment laying around, and the grow tent was pretty cheap. It was $99, and I got that set up, and I can I kind of spun it up in just like an hour or so last night. So I wanted to come over here and show you what I'm doing with it. I actually only have like a couple rigs, kicking around. This GPU rig is actually hosted at a friend's house, so that's amazing. These two are the ones that are currently in the grow tent. So these two GPUs has made a material difference. Now, like I said, my furnace is not like totally kicked, but it is messed up and it's not staying heated. I'm not going to tell you all about the furnace, but this setup, this space heater that I'm shooting air into my house with is like just enough to keep my house warm. And so, yeah, I'm obviously mining Quai to my pool. And the reason for that is because I actually have, right at this moment, there's really nothing I find interesting to mine with GPUs. CMP 170s are probably like the go-to, but I just have these 3000 series GPUs from way back in the day. They ROI'd like 80% when I deployed them mining ETH, and then they fully ROI'd on Caspa, and then I had a couple other plays, and so they're just like fully like 3x ROI'd, and I just keep them around because I like to play with them, and then I run them on solar for free when it's warm. And so I have my little spec mining situation, and I like deploy them on solar, so then it doesn't matter. It's like literally free electric. So anyway, what I wanted to show you is that I have pointed them over to the pool, and they are mining, and I wanted to show you guys that it's actually pretty helpful. In my mind, it's like, if I'm gonna pay this electric bill to heat my house, why would I not also, make at least some coin, right? And Quai has been doing pretty good since in this kind of like post soap era. If you pull out the 1 month chart, it's pretty interesting what has occurred here. We've had a little bit of a pullback lately. However, if you like go and look at the whole entire since inception, I guess it's been about a year. This is what the chart looks like, but this is where soap launched, and as you can see, it is indeed having the intended impact. So that's nice. And I've always been very interested in Quai, as you guys know, and so that is what I'm mining until further notice on these GPUs. So I'm just very happy to report that the grow tent is shooting for air into my house and supplementing my furnace, and it is working. And if you happen to have like this is just these two rigs that I have running, right? So I think this is like an 8x, and this is just a 4x. GPU rig of old school GPUs, man. That's running, and this is at 6 cents. If you have 6 cents a kilowatt hour, you are currently heating your house, and you're basically break even or making a little bit. Now I have 15 cents a kilowatt hour, so I would not be mining on these GPUs right now at my house because it would just be like irrational for me to do so. So I think it's what 337 that I had there. So 337.7, and it ends up being just about this is 337 hash rate, just about 2,000 kilowatts or so. I'm sorry, 2 kilowatts, 2,000 watts or so. At 15 cents, I'm basically paying $3.50 a day to augment my furnace with some extra heat, and it really is working. I don't want to show you my phone because the address for the weather, but it's going to be very cold, and so this is actually like I'm paying this amount, but I'm also getting a little bit of Quai every day, and the main point is I'm literally heating my house. This is a great situation in a pinch, right? I'm heating my house, and now I can figure out exactly what's going on with the furnace and not have to worry about my house being cold. And then, if it warms up and the furnace is actually enough and I get it fixed, then, I just shut the GPUs down until the solar panels get busted out, and then I mine for free. So anyway, pretty fun little exercise. I like to use mining to heat areas, right? It's like, why am I going to run a space heater when I can just run, a crypto mining space heater? So anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that this actually worked out pretty good for me. And if you ever want to do something like this, go for it. It's a pretty fun little hobby, and it's a pretty useful way of kind of getting some heat and also yielding some coins. So anyway, good luck and have fun.